What's going on, everybody? This is Jared here at Plant Everything Carnivorous. Today I'm going to give you guys a tour around the property, around the nursery, to show you kind of what's what. So I apologize for any stuttering that I do or anything. I'm just going to do this pretty much in one shot. It's just a lot easier that way. But without further ado, I'm going to start showing you guys around the nursery. So here we go. Here's what we're looking like in the front yard right now. Right now it is July 21st. This bed right here is mostly all seed grown stuff that I did a couple years back. Some of it looks pretty nice. Some of the Lucos and whatnot. This is one that keeps catching my eye. I like the dense veining pattern. This one's a, what are we working with? Leo Wilkerson by Lunchbox. That's a pretty neat one right there. If you guys have any questions about anything, feel free to leave comments. That's another nice one. I believe that's Jones Yeah by Royal Ruby. A lot more seed grown ones here. All sorts of stuff. Some fly traps I started roughly a year ago. More interesting looking stuff right there. Baldwin County. This right here is my flava bed. So there's all sorts of different flavas. Atropurpurea. We got kind of your ornatas, flava caprea right there. Rubricapora, just blocking the way. Yeah. This is the Plant Everything Carnivorous clone, the breeder clone that we use here. So of the Atropurpurea, just a wonderful plant. All sorts of different location datas. Again, we're in July, so stuff is looking towards the tail end of its nice season, but some of these are absolutely still looking really nice. Moving on, because we got plenty of stuff to go through. These are a lot more seed grown stuff. These are all in 72 cell flats right here. This is more seed grown stuff that I did a couple years ago. Seed from Michael Sprouse. So, again, more seed grown stuff here. This is some of my stuff that's a little bit more common or whatever. You got, your Scarlet Bells and your absolutely bush rubra. So all sorts of stuff there. More absolute pot of Scarlet Bell there. And then get into a little bit some of the nicer stuff here. Some of the spring pictures, or the fall pictures, sorry, are just starting to look nicer. So all sorts of different stuff. This is one that's a Leo Wilkerson by Lunchbox, and this has like a funky small lid. Definitely not lidless, but it's a small lid. A lot of other nice stuff in there. And then moving on. This is another mostly seed grown bed here from a couple years ago. Some nice Lucos and Supermarii in here. This one keeps catching my eye lately. That one's a Judith Hindle by Adrian Slack. All sorts of nice stuff in here. A super white Luco keeps catching my eye there. Almost like a White Walker impersonator right there. Lots of small division stuff here. Nothing super incredible. Alita Maroon throat right there is looking nice. But moving on, whole lot of more divisions and whatnot of different plants. So some nice looking stuff in here. I really like the pink of some of these. Maybe a lot of, so more leucos and whatnot in there. This is another seed grown flava bed. So some of these are just super duper dark. You got all sorts of different colorations in here. I believe this is Steve Gaelick's, a couple different seed batches from him that I got a few years back. Oh, and this little one's been catching my eye a lot lately. That would be a no ID Luca. So anyways, next bed. This stuff isn't my most spectacular, but it's got some interesting plants in there. Lots of seed grown stuff. It's still going, on the verge of development. More divisions of smaller plants and seed grown stuff there. This is another keeper table here. Lots of various stuff in here, different leucos, mostly all seed grown. This whole bed's mostly all seed grown here. That's a nice looking one right there. All sorts of stuff. This is a Judith Hindle by Flava rubricapora, or Flava rubricapora by Judith Hindle, and this one's just spectacular. It's absolutely dark, and it has the Judith Hindle size and shape mostly, but for some reason definitely took on the Flava coloration. Moving on down the line. Lunchbox by Bengal Tiger. That was an interesting looking one. We'll see what that one turns into. More nice ones. What's this guy? MFOs. MFPOS by Dion. Dion. That's this guy right here. That's a nice looking one. Anyways, moving on. There's a lot of plants to get through. Areolata Colorful. It's the same as that one. That was a really nice one. Good old fashioned Leah. Got plenty of those. You'll see those are in the nursery as we keep going. More stuff here. Lots of bigger plants. More seed grown stuff there. A lot of this is Hawaiian Ice by Dragon Queen. It's funny, you'll see some of the red variations and then some of the white variations as well. With some fly traps poking up right behind there. This is a table of leucos. Sold everything that you don't see there. Lots more seed grown stuff, waiting to see what they all turn into. Some of it's got some nice shapes and colors, and some of it's pretty interesting. So, more divisions and whatnot over here. Stuff that I'm still working through. And that one looks pretty neat. Alita Night. That's a nice dark one. I really like that. This is purely unknowns. So if you see anything you like in this video, hit me up. It's all for sale. It's tall though, so might have to cut pictures for shipping. But I think that guy's nice. That guy's super nice. Moving on. More of the backup mother overflow plants. Area a lot of stuff right there. That's looking really nice this time of year. All sorts of wonderful plants are in here. I really am digging this kind of a shape. but one that like gets a little bit larger too. Just something like this almost is really neat to me. The lids on this thing also absolutely insane. You can see that. That's a pretty nice one there. And seriously, guys, comment timestamps and screenshot circle plants if you find something that you're interested in. Shoot me a message. Look at that one. That one is Escambia County. That's what that guy is right there. All sorts of nice stuff. And then we got the nice water lilies out front here. And then we do have some longleaf pines chilling over there. So, that is the majority of the front yard done in a super quick walkthrough. This one also keeps catching my eye. I really enjoyed that one. This one's a Leo Wilkerson Bog Rosea given to me by Brooks Garcia. So, excited to see what that one turns into. Moving on to the backyard, we got the water collection system. And there, you can see we've had lots of rain, so they're mostly filled up. We got some of our seed grown area here. You see all those are 1020 trays that are just filled up. They have holes in the bottom, filled up with plants, and then you see the varying trays of seedlings. Most of these seedlings in these style trays are done in January, so they're kind of making their own statements now. Lots of the big ones you see in the background are from a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that. So they're doing their thing. We keep coming into here. We got a whole lot more seedlings. Again, these are all January seedlings. These are ones that I have recently repotted into these larger trays. So some of these are going to be extremely nice. Like this one is probably the one that I'm most looking forward to. This is going to be Saurus by that giant rosea that I have that is known and loved. You'll see that in a little bit. So I am hopeful for just some absolutely comically sized niches from that. More seed grown stuff. More seed growns there. Some of the Nepenthes getting a little bit too much sun, but they're living their life. Yeah, some stuff that I have posted on eBay for sale is kept right there. Again, the water table stuff. Out here we have our Montana bed. So you can see I've got the Purpurea Montana in here. A couple other Montanas, Northern Perps and whatnot. So more seedlings from this year as well. Plug tray of fly traps. And some other stuff there. Down here we've got more beds of all sorts of different stuff. Cornerstone looking absolutely dark. Catrian Clare sibling. Not Catrian Clare, but Catrian Clare sibling. Antho Free Morii is here. A whole lot of seed grown down here. And then on the back side here, we've got more fly traps over there. So Dragon Queen, Legacy, Metal Eyes, Wilkerson's White Knight. So all sorts of wonderful stuff. Patriot right here. That's Patriot. Just an absolute beast. We have Fallen Soldier. All sorts of stuff is over here. Nothing too crazy. We're gonna eventually rearrange this entire backyard, and this is gonna get replaced with a much larger greenhouse. So come on to over here. Most of the stuff was gotten from Fred P. All sorts of different stuff. Some nice stuff mixed in there. That one. More seed-grown stuff. Seed-grown stuff that a year ago was overfilled with a pathogen. And I believe we've pretty much moved past that. And now it's just become a pile of weeds and mixed with Sarracenia. So that's my project for this winter. Perp bed, all sorts of different locale perps and cultivar perps and all sorts of different stuff. We got Smurf here, looking wonderful. We got Brunswick Beauty, Tatinol, Northern perps as well in here, and they're actually doing pretty decent. So Citacina, decent sized Citacina right there. It's probably about the biggest I've ever seen that one. This one was absolutely massive when I got it. Let's see, we got Bug Bat. He's chilling in there. Timothy King. That's a really, really, really nice one. Kilimanjaro. All sorts of different stuff. But, well, the wife's bug here, not looking super spectacular yet. I'm probably going to give it like a year or two to grow in before it'll actually really look nice. Little fly trap bog there just to show people what the fly traps can turn into. Little grow out table right here. Nothing too spectacular. We'll move on to inside the actual mother greenhouse. So here we get all sorts of different stuff. Elaine's Fire and Ice. Flava Copper Body. So yeah, all sorts of stuff in here. Lots of my Oreophilas right here. Sunshade, absolutely giant plant. All the fly traps there. Some larger fly traps there too. Some really nice stuff. Big tomato is what that one is right there. Wine mouth. It doesn't get the darkest for me, but it does all right. Flava lidless, all sorts of stuff. Iredell County in there. Yeah, Inverse Veins Cat. Really excited about that one. Somewhat recently got that one. So, all sorts of stuff in here. Grendel. The plant that I can't think of a name for. Thinking like Cupid or something like that. It's a really funky looking one. People seem to like it though. White Cobra. Registered cultivar from Michael Sprouse. Red Viper. Elvis is what that one is. Elvis Wilkerson. Goliath right there. And then the little pots of moss that I try to grow. They're not that easy, but Kew Gardens looking super dark, super nice. All sorts of different stuff. That's a nice one there. Yeah. Who's that guy? This is an Adrian Slack open pollinated right there. So who knows what that guy is. Big Gulp is right there. Somewhat recently got that. It's throwing up a picture. It's looking really nice. Antho Free from Brunswick County. That's not a super common one. Red Elephant. Looking really nice. Micheliana DP. This is another really nice niche there. Megamouth. Finally looking about proper size. We'll turn to this side of the greenhouse. You see we got some much larger plants. This is a seed-grown Leuco from Jeremiah Harris Seeds that has grown absolutely insane. It's about 40 inches tall. That picture is right there. That's the tallest picture on the property. Massive Leah. Back there, you see Patriot and Leviathan poking in there. Leah Wilkerson Royal Ruby. We got the absolute monster Cyrus. Leah Wilkerson right there. That's what this guy is. In an absolutely massive pot. I believe that's a 10 or 15 gallon pot. And then nuzzled in cozily over here, we got the giant Rosea. It put up some absolutely massive pictures this year. Which is making the pot look very small. This is not a small pot, trust me. This is not a small pot at all. So, we got the cultivar Brooks Garcia. That's looking wonderful. We got more Iredell County here. Deep Throat. That one's looking spectacular. It's actually getting quite large for me. Southern Comfort Excellence. That one's looking really nice this year. All sorts of different stuff. We got Brunswick Beauty. Not Brunswick Beauty. This is Bunsen Burner. Sorry. Lots of different Leucos and location data mostly from all over the place. Couple cornerstones over here. Nice white Mitch. Bengal Tiger Imposter. Either that's the imposter or that's the real thing. I always get the two confused. That's actually Bengal Tiger. I've got a very similar clone to Bengal Tiger. I'm left Tiana. More Mitches and cats, and this Antho-free cat is really nice. I really enjoy that one. King Cobra. This one, the working name is Hungry Caterpillar. I think it kind of suits the name. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about that. Another Brooks Garcia right there. Another metallized right there. Giant pot of Wakama. Absolutely massive pot of it. One of my favorite plants, Crown of Thorns. So I really enjoy that one. Megamouth Hybrid. Antho-free Morii. Yeah, Gauntlet is back here. He's looking fantastic. So this is a Wintermute lookalike. Not quite Wintermute, but very similar. I've got Wintermute over there. I'm just curious when it actually grows up to see how they two would compare. So, Yellow Jacket right there. Yeah, and then all the fly traps and Saracenia minors over here. And like I said, Oriophils over here. Super Maria right there. So, all sorts of different fly traps. All sorts of different fly traps. And then moving on to the very last greenhouse that, like I said, we're probably going to be moving this. This is the actual sales greenhouse in here. But yeah, we're probably gonna be moving all this and putting a larger greenhouse right here. Because this one right now is 12 foot wide. We're thinking of putting a 20 foot wide in here. And 20 foot by 48 foot. So we'll see how that goes. All sorts of different plants inside of here. Red filiformis. This is one that's been pretty neat to me. It's a double drool by Wilkerson's White Knight. I've been really enjoying that one. It's nice electric green. More kind of my nicer bed in here. All sorts of different cultivars and hybrids and register stuff. In here, stuff's not looking quite as hot. Literally got a little hot one day and kind of started to cook everything. So that happens. That absolutely happens. And you'll see when that does happen, you're just gonna get like the tops of the plants are gonna look brown. Starting to look a little crunchy, just up top mostly. You can tell on most of these guys, just the top portions are just starting to look a little bit crunchy. So that happens. Coming over here, we got the fly trap bed. So all sorts of different fly traps there. Chinese dumpling, maroon monster, red dragon, towering giant, typicals, etc. So yeah, that's pretty much the nursery and what it currently entails. But we're always expanding, we're always adding more. So if you guys want to purchase anything, let me know. We got a site up on eBay, we got a site up on online, putting everything